I started out as an English teacher and a coach in a very small school in northern Wisconsin. And not too far away from the school was the University of Wisconsin-Stout. And I went there and got my master's degree in guidance and counseling. And then from there on, I was a guidance counselor. I started my guidance counselor's job at Boyceville, Wisconsin. And as soon as I graduated from college, I was inducted into the service. As part of my service, I spent in Hawaii. I spent a year of guidance counselor in Kahuku, Hawaii. And then from there, I didn't have a real enjoyable time of teaching there because it was the first year that it became a state. So I knew I didn't want to do this the rest of my life. So I wrote to Joliet, Illinois, where I was offered a teaching job. And then that's where I ended up my guidance counselor career. My enjoyment of counseling in Joliet was exceptionally good for about the first 10 years, 15 years. And then I became a disciplinarian along with my counseling. And I had a school or a principal that forgot about discipline, and it made it very difficult. We had policemen in the hallways, and I got so I didn't leave my office because I just have to go out in the halls and break up a fight, which I didn't particularly care to do. I had some unusual circumstances that I had that were not anticipated when I started counseling. I got a call from a parent or a relative of a parent saying that this father had passed away. And would you tell the student? Which was very difficult. She came in and she gave me a big hug, and I gave her a big hug. And I tried to explain to her what the situation was. I was considered the college counselor my last few years in Joliet, which I would travel to different schools. I had to write all kinds of recommendations, but they would come in and they would say, all right, I want to be a nurse. And I would say, all right, here's colleges that have nursing. Or I wanted to go into business. And I would say, all right, now these are colleges that are recommended for business. And a lot of them would come in, or several of them would come in and say, hey, I want a cheap school. A school that would be not real expensive, which we knew, the ones that were, and most of those were state-supported institutions. Probably the fondest memories of my coaching, or of teaching, was my coaching. I started out as an English teacher coach in a real small school in Dorchester, Wisconsin. And I think we had 200 students. One of the salesmen says, Phil, you're doing such a good job here. Why don't you move up? And I said, well, I'm satisfied. He said, call these people and see if you can't get an interview for a coach at Boyceville. They need a coach. So I did, and it was a big raise in salary, like $500 or something like that. And at that time, that was a lot of money. And so we went there, and I was there for 7 years, I think it was. And we had successful seasons in Wisconsin. When a team won a tournament or something, that was it. Well, when we won a tournament, I cut down the nets, had the boys cut down a net. And that was so unusual for Wisconsin. So after we won the first conference championship, we cut down the net. But when it came tournament time, the school that they said, you're not going to do that. I said, we'll see. And come time for us we won the tournament. And as soon as the bell rang, or the whole thing was going up in the air, the backboard and everything, they wouldn't let us cut down the net. But that was something that they didn't do in Wisconsin at the time. Oh, I think the basketball, where I was my best feelings of relationship with my students was through basketball coaching. I had the real coach and player relationship, which was very enjoyable, and I still feel that way.